The assistant calmly informs Luli that it's his turn now and asks him to step into the changing room. Her voice sounds smooth, but something about her tone feels hollow, like she has said this line many times before, right before someone dies. Luli nods and begins walking toward the changing room. His steps are steady, but inside his mind, questions start rising. He wonders if this whole thing really is just about cooking. The whole setup feels too strange. Then it hits him. This has to be another one of Lady Wiyu's tricks. That woman probably sent him here knowing full well that this place is more deadly than delicious. Inside the Tao-Tai changing room, the air feels thick. 4 other chefs are already there. These are the people he'll be competing against or maybe fighting against. It's hard to tell at this point. One of them steps forward. The guy is bald, built like a tank, and clearly full of himself. He sizes up Luli with a smirk, like he's already decided this match is beneath him. Then he throws out insults, brushing Luli off like garbage. He makes it clear he thinks Luli doesn't belong here, saying he doesn't even smell like someone who's ever used a real wok. It's laughable how much ego this guy carries for someone whose brain clearly weighs less than his frying pan. He acts like he's on some noble path, but it's clear he's just a loud clown in a chef's outfit. Luli stays quiet. He doesn't waste his words on fools. Then another chef steps in, this one with blonde hair and a strange calmness. He walks closer to Luli and speaks with a tone that doesn't carry hate, but something deeper. There's a hint of respect in his words, but also something cold. He says only one of them will survive. That changes everything. Luli watches him walk away and thinks carefully. That one sentence is enough to reveal the true nature of this place. This isn't just about cooking. This is a death game. Fail, and you die. Even if you succeed, only the best gets to walk out alive. Everyone else, finished. The smell of food will mix with the smell of blood before this is over. Luli puts on the new attire. The clothes feel heavy, not in weight, but in meaning. He is no longer just a guest here. He is now a piece on the twisted board. After a few minutes, the assistant enters again. She politely asks if he's ready. The competition's about to start. Luli gives a calm reply and stands tall. Behind him, the last chef sits in the corner. This one has 2 heads, and both of them look worried. His body trembles slightly, and he doesn't say a word. It's clear the pressure is getting to him. For someone with 2 brains, he's doing a pretty poor job of handling the situation. Maybe having 2 heads just means twice the fear. The room grows quiet again. The real test is about to begin. The 4 chefs step into the main hall, each one taking their place behind a cooking table. The space is wide and quiet, but there's tension in the air thick enough to slice with a knife. At the front stands the head butler, still acting like he runs a royal palace instead of a death kitchen. He lifts his chin and announces the next round. His voice drips with fake charm, pretending to respect the chefs when it's clear this whole event is a trap. He welcomes the participants with overly polite words like putting icing on a poisoned cake. Then he begins explaining the rules, pretending this is all fair. The rules are simple but cruel. The kitchen will provide the ingredients. The chefs must cook using only what they are given. No one can bring their own items and no complaints will be heard. The hall master alone will decide who wins. That judgment is final. No second chances. No arguing. Just silence or death. Luli looks at the tools on his table. Knives, pots, bowls, everything feels strange and distant, like looking at old memories. His fingers hover over the utensils. It really is a cooking competition, but nothing about it feels warm or welcoming. His thoughts drift back in time. In the flashback, Luli stands inside a cozy room with his siblings. The smell of food fills the air. A big pot of braised meat sits on the table. He serves it with care, giving portions to his younger brother, Ah-Fei, who eagerly asks for more. Luli smiles and gently refuses, saying that 3 bowls are enough. But Ah-Fei can't help it. The food is just that good. Their eldest brother then tells Luli to stop serving and come eat with them. That moment is full of laughter, full of love. No competition, no fear, just family and warm food. Back in the present, the memory fades like steam from a pot. Luli stands still, but something in his eyes changes. That feeling of home is gone now, replaced by pressure and sharp stares. The head butler continues speaking, puffing up the importance of the challenge like this is some grand festival. He says every chef here is obviously full of confidence, as if confidence can protect them from getting killed. Then he explains the next step. Each table has a covered tray with random ingredients inside. The goal is to adapt, to take whatever strange or useless stuff is inside and turn it into something good. It's clear now, this isn't about cooking from the heart. It's about survival. The chefs are told they have 2 minutes to lift the covers and examine what's inside. Their lives now depend on what they find. The timer begins ticking. Luli lifts the cover from his table. He mutters to himself, hoping the ingredients aren't too strange. A few odd vegetables or some strange meat wouldn't surprise him, but what he sees shakes him to the core. In front of him lies a corpse, the cold, lifeless body of the chef who failed in the last round. The sight makes his stomach twist. It's not just shocking, it's disgusting. His hands freeze in place, and for a moment, he forgets to breathe. The head butler stands up proudly, looking like some twisted preacher instead of a cooking judge. He explains the philosophy behind this madness. In his mind, the hall master is a noble figure, treating every ingredient with great respect. So great, in fact, that even the dead are turned into food. According to this madness, wasting food is a crime worse than anything else. So once a chef fails, they are allowed to redeem themselves by becoming part of the menu. It's sick. It's insane. But the butler says it with the kind of pride usually reserved for heroes, like he's proud of this horror show. He even has the nerve to thank the dead for their sacrifice. That fake respect feels more insulting than silence. Luli listens quietly. He understands now. This isn't just a deadly contest. It's a twisted religion built around cooking. A place where even the dead have no rest and the living must chop, season, and boil them in order to survive. The head butler claps his hands and announces the start of the competition. The clock begins. 1 hour. That's all the time they have to cook or to die. The blonde chef lets out a laugh, clearly pleased with his draw. He's been given the corpse of a man with the head of a pig, and he seems to think that's a good thing. He acts like this is a game of luck, flashing his smile like some spoiled brat who just won a prize. It's sickening how happy he looks with a corpse in front of him. The bald chef isn't much better. He eats goblin meat and acts like it's a rare delicacy. He throws in some bragging words, pretending like goblin flesh carries a fine flavor, as if rot and dirt have become spices. Luli looks at what he has been given. It's worse than anything he imagined. In front of him is a dead beast, ugly beyond words, with rotting skin and a smell that almost knocks him off his feet. This isn't just a challenge. This is sabotage. The meat is already spoiled, and whatever it was in life, it now looks like something that crawled out of a nightmare. For a second, fear grips him. This is only the first round, and already the difficulty is unreal. But he pulls himself together. Losing his calm now means death. His hands tremble, but his mind begins to turn. The problem is the ingredient. That's the heart of it. It's not fresh, it stinks, and it's falling apart. But maybe there's still a way. There must be techniques to clean and cover spoiled flavor. Maybe with the right spices, strong heat, or clever cuts, he can turn this nightmare into something edible. Luli looks at the beast again. There's no room for panic. The timer is ticking. A sudden thought flashes through Luli's mind like a spark in darkness. He remembers something important, a clever way to deal with strong and bad smells in meat. Sichuan cuisine. The answer lies there. His eyes light up with sharp focus. He decides to use the heavy, numbing, and spicy flavor profile of Sichuan dishes. That kind of fire can drown out the stink of spoiled meat. It's a bold move, but it's the best option. In this case, fighting fire with fire might be the only path to survival. His hands begin to move with purpose. No more hesitation. He has only 1 hour, and every second counts. He chooses to make a dish called wild pork slices, a strong and famous Sichuan dish known for its bold heat and mouth-numbing taste. If he gets it right, it can cover the bad flavor completely. He grabs the knife and starts slicing the meat. His mind stays focused on each step. The tenderloin section is the best part for this dish. It holds the right balance of softness and firmness. Each slice needs to be around 2 millimeters thick. Any thicker, and the flavor won't reach deep inside. Any thinner, and the texture will feel too weak. Precision is everything. Then comes the next critical step, marination. This type of poor quality meat needs more than just slicing. It must soak in seasonings for longer. Salt, cooking wine, onions, ginger. Everything must come together to remove the awful stench and bring out whatever good remains. The process is like rescuing something from the edge of ruin. On the side, the blonde chef watches Luli with interest. He speaks loud enough to get attention, pretending to be impressed. But there's a clear hint of arrogance in his tone, like someone who's already decided the outcome. He notices that Luli got the worst ingredient, and for a moment, he feels better about himself. He returns to his own cooking, showing off without any shame. With the help of his magic, his knife moves fast and clean, slicing through corpse meat like it's butter. He acts like a beauty pageant judge trapped in a kitchen, calling himself beautiful and praising his own food. It's almost funny how seriously he takes his looks, even in a cooking deathmatch. On the other side, the giant bald chef is not even pretending to be graceful. He's stomping the goblin meat like it owes him money. His huge feet slam into the table with such force that the ground shakes with every hit. Instead of cooking, it looks like he's smashing bricks. The blonde chef suddenly snaps, clearly irritated. His face twists with annoyance as he throws a tantrum at the bald chef, complaining about the noise. The bald chef fires back with no filter. He mocks the blonde one without holding back, calling him weak and fragile. It's a clash of personalities. One is all bark, and the other is all stomp. Despite his rough and brainless look, the bald chef is actually focused on his plan. He's smashing the goblin meat again and again, turning it into something dense. His goal is simple: to make meatballs that are ridiculously chewy. In his eyes, goblin meat may not taste as good as pork, but its firmness can be an advantage. So with every loud hit, he is shaping his final dish. Still, the way he's going about it makes him look less like a chef and more like a demolition worker in an apron. Time keeps moving, and the tension grows sharper. The head butler speaks again with that same smug calmness. He reminds everyone that only 20 minutes remain. The tone in his voice sounds like he's looking forward to watching someone fail. Luli stays focused. His red oil soup base finally reaches the perfect state. A deep, spicy aroma fills the air. He knows this part is crucial. Next comes the most delicate step of the entire process: gently cooking the thin slices of meat one by one. This step is short but unforgiving. Just a few seconds too long, and the meat becomes rubber. Too quick, and it stays raw. This is the real test. The difference between good and bad will be decided in seconds. But on the far end of the hall, things begin to fall apart. The two-headed chef, the fourth contestant, is frozen with fear. He stares at the corpse in front of him, another two-headed man. The sight is too much. His voice trembles, and he starts mumbling the same words again and again. He repeats them like he's broken inside. His spirit is gone. There's no strength left in his body, only panic and despair. Then a blade cuts through the air with a sick sound. Blood sprays across the floor. Both of his heads are sliced off in one clean motion. He drops to the ground, lifeless. The hall goes silent for a second. Eyes of Luli widen. The shock is real. His heart jumps, but then something worse hits him. The blood. It splashes across his table and onto the meat he had carefully marinated. All the hard work, all the timing, all the effort, ruined in one careless moment. The blood soaks into the slices, staining them with the scent of death. He curses himself under his breath. One small mistake. He didn't cover the bowl. He didn't protect the meat. Now the ingredient is spoiled again, and he is almost back to square one. Time is running out, and now the challenge has become even harder. The two-headed chef lies dead on the ground, blood pooling around him. The bald chef stares at the fallen body of the two-headed chef. No pity in his eyes, no pause in his tone. He mocks the dead man like he was never worth anything to begin with. To him, it's just one less person to compete with, nothing more. The lack of basic human feeling makes him look more like a beast than a man. The blonde chef is no better. Instead of being shocked or even bothered, he complains about his clothes getting stained. His fancy outfit seems to matter more than a person's life. In his mind, the blood on his sleeves is a bigger problem than the blood on the floor. Such shallow thinking fits perfectly with his over-polished personality. Lily stares at his ruined meat. The smell of blood from the dead chef has mixed completely with the ingredients he had marinated with such care. He picks up the bowl and steps forward, asking the head butler for a decision. His voice is calm, but his heart is sinking. The head butler nods with fake concern, acting like he understands. He claims to have checked with the hall master. His words sound respectful, but the result is cruel. No help, no adjustment, no mercy. The competition must go on. Even now, they act like everything is normal. It's clear there is no fairness in this place, only cold rules and colder hearts. Luli feels his chest tighten. His thoughts turn bitter. The meat is useless now. That strange, fishy smell has sunk deep into every slice. There is no time left to prepare a new batch. Without proper marination, the flavor will be unbearable. He stands still for a moment, face pale, hands frozen. His chance at victory is slipping through his fingers. The blonde chef continues his cooking as if on stage. His ingredients float through the air like a show of magic. They fall perfectly into the pot, forming neat little dumplings. He speaks to them like a child talking to toys. Every move he makes is meant to impress. But under all that flair, there's no heart, only ego and fake charm. The bald chef laughs loudly, full of pride in his goblin meatballs. He brags about some secret soup recipe passed down in his family. He acts like his victory is already guaranteed. But his idea of cooking is just smashing meat and boiling it. That brainless confidence comes from someone who has never been challenged. 8 minutes remain. Luli takes a deep breath. Giving up now means death. But if he keeps going, even with no plan, no perfect ingredients, there is still a tiny chance. He reminds himself that even the smallest light can shine in deep darkness. His hands move again. He picks up whatever he can and starts making something new. No recipe, no time to think. Only action. Only instinct. The bell rings across the hall. That sharp sound cuts through the tension like a knife. Time is up. The competition is officially over. The head butler raises his voice and asks the chefs to present their dishes. His words are calm, but his eyes shine with excitement, like a man who enjoys watching people fight for survival. The blonde chef is the first to step forward. His dish is polished and flashy, K-shaped pork dumplings that look more like a decoration than food. Everything about the dish screams style over substance. He poses like a model, proud of his shiny little creation, convinced the world should bow before his beauty. Next comes the bald chef. He slams down a hot bowl of goblin meatball soup. The meatballs are thick and heavy, bouncing slightly in the broth. He calls them Cubone style, whatever that means, and grins like a beast who just crushed a watermelon with his bare hands. There's no elegance, no grace, just brute force turned into soup. Luli is still at his table, carefully finishing his dish. The assistant butler reaches for the plate, but he stops her for a second. His hand reaches for a small bowl. One last bit of sauce remains. He pours it over the food with quiet focus. Only after that final touch does he allow the dish to be taken. All three dishes are now placed before the head butler. The chefs line up, standing straight with tense expressions. No one speaks. No one moves. The head butler speaks again. He tells them to wait. The dishes are now being presented to the mysterious hall master, who remains hidden behind the screen. The moment feels heavy, every second dragging longer than the last. Then chaos suddenly breaks the silence. The head butler steps forward and announces something unexpected. One of the dishes has caught the hall master's attention, a rare thing it seems. Because of this, the hall master will personally step out and give feedback. The screen behind him begins to turn. All eyes lock onto the figure revealed. Sitting on the enormous stomach of a man-shaped monster throne is none other than the hall master of the Southern Hall, Lady Jiusui. The sight shocks everyone. She looks far too young, almost like a noble girl at a banquet, but her presence is terrifying. Her calmness, her posture, and the cruel way she lounges make her feel more like a queen of nightmares than a chef's judge. She pops a dumpling into her mouth and chews slowly, enjoying every bite. The dumplings, of course, are from the blonde chef. She speaks his name, and he drops his knees immediately, full of fake respect. His tone is so sweet, it could rot teeth. He praises her like she's a goddess, completely forgetting where he is. Lady Jiusui responds with a cold smile. She points out the strengths of his dish. His use of cutting magic has perfectly balanced the meat, lean and fat in equal parts. The dumpling wrappers are smooth and even. Everything looks clean and correct. She says he used his ingredients well and tells him he is qualified to move forward. The blonde chef merely melts with joy. His face shines like a smug little prince who thinks he owns the kitchen. The moment passes and Lady Jiusui asks for the next dish. The blonde chef meals in joy, still smiling like a spoiled child who just got praise for drawing inside the lines. His thanks are full of dramatic flair, like he's performing in front of a mirror. The bald chef, not ready to admit defeat, throws in his own comment. He reminds everyone that the final winner hasn't been decided yet. His voice carries the pride of a man who still thinks muscle equals mastery. Lady Jiusui turns her attention to the goblin meatball soup. She scoots a bite and begins to eat. A pause follows. Then she calls the bald chef forward. He kneels down with stiff pride. There's no fear in his eyes, only confidence. His face says he believes he's already passed. And in a way, he has. Lady Jiusui admits that the meatballs are well done. The chewiness, or rather the weird snappiness, is intense. It's rare for such a result to come from goblin meat. Based on that alone, she says he qualifies. The bald chef smiles and gives thanks, already acting like the crown is his. But then she asks about the soup, and that's when everything changes. He explains proudly that it's a family recipe made from 18 different rare spices. He speaks like he's offering treasure. But the moment she tastes it, her face darkens. She says the soup is terrible. No hesitation. No soft words. She declares that such heavy seasoning ruins everything. The original flavor of the ingredients is completely lost. Instead of honoring the food, he buried it under layers of spice. She says cooking should lift up the ingredients, not bury them. Her words cut deeper than any blade, but the real strike comes right after. She lifts her knife. No warning. No mercy. The blade swings down, and in a flash too fast to follow, all the meat is sliced clean off the bald chef's body. His skin vanishes in one motion. Blood sprays across the room. He collapses, twitching with nothing left but raw flesh and pain. Luli can't believe what just happened. His eyes widen, but even then, he realizes he never saw her move. Her speed is beyond anything human. It's like watching death itself pass by. Lady Jiusui then turns her eyes to the last dish. Her expression sharpens. She sees what Luli has prepared and frowns slightly. Her voice carries a hint of disbelief. Her words slice into the silence. She questions if what she's looking at even counts as a real dish. Lady Jisui looks straight at Lu Li with a sharp expression, eyes narrowed in clear doubt. Her voice cuts through the air like a knife. The dish before her doesn't match the grand dishes from the others. Her tone makes it obvious. She's wondering if what he made even deserves to be on the table. Lu Li doesn't flinch. His voice stays calm and confident. He replies that not only is it a proper dish, it's also incredibly tasty. He introduces the name, scrambled eggs with tomatoes. A simple name for a simple dish. The moment that name leaves his mouth, the blonde chef bursts into laughter. His voice is loud and mocking. His laughter is not just at the dish, it's at the idea that something so basic could be taken seriously in this kind of competition. He speaks with smugness, as if he's just caught someone committing a crime against cooking. He mocks the idea of using eggs and tomatoes in front of the hallmaster, calling it a joke. His tone carries the same arrogance as always, like only fancy techniques and magical show-offs deserve praise. Lu Li stays silent. He stares at the blonde chef without blinking. Inside his mind, a thought forms. This combination, tomato and egg, hasn't been seen in the monster world before. It may be ordinary in other places, but here, it could be something new, something bold. That uniqueness might just be enough. The blonde chef isn't done talking. He turns to Lady Jisui, practically begging her to eliminate Lu Li. His voice is whiny now, desperate even. It's clear the idea of losing is eating away at him. He wants Lu Li gone, not because of rules, but because he's scared. Lady Jisui shuts him down without hesitation. Her tone becomes sharp and commanding. She reminds everyone in the room that every chef who dares present a dish to her earns the right to have it tasted. But there's a price. Her taste decides their life or death. That is the rule. That is the cost of standing before her. She picks up her chopsticks and takes a bite of the dish. Her eyes widen slightly. A reaction finally breaks through her cold face. She takes another bite, and another. Her voice grows curious. She says the flavor is unexpected, different, interesting. The tension in the room sharpens. She then says she has made her decision. Between the two remaining chefs, only one will move forward. The winner will be chosen now. The blonde chef suddenly feels cold. Something about the word interesting keeps echoing in his head. That word, said by Lady Jisui, doesn't mean boredom. It means attention. And the way she kept eating Lu Li's dish, more than just one polite bite, that was no small thing. For the first time, the blonde chef feels real fear. Panic begins to bloom in his chest. For the first time, he realizes he might be losing. Before Jisui can speak the winner's name, the blonde chef jumps in like a spoiled child who can't accept losing. He waves his arms and shouts, saying the dish doesn't count because the ingredient wasn't the one given to the other contestant. His voice keeps getting louder. He repeats the same thing over and over again, as if yelling will change the truth. This man really believes that whining and complaining can win him a cooking contest. Jisui's face turns cold. Her patience snaps in a second. The next moment, blood sprays through the air. The blonde chef, full of pride and noise a second ago, is now lying in pieces. His body is chopped into 100 parts. There's nothing left of him but a mess. For someone who talked big, he sure couldn't handle a simple result. A man who can't cook without crying doesn't belong in a kitchen. Sitting on her seat with fury still in her eyes, Jisui explains her decision in a sharp voice. She says the winner of the contest is the blonde chef. But of course the joke writes itself, he's already dead, so the prize now belongs to Lu Li. Lu Li walks forward and bows politely. In his mind, he goes back to the moment before the chaos. He remembers clearly Jisui's hand was already moving toward him. That means he was going to win anyway. The truth is clear now. His simple dish of scrambled eggs with tomatoes had won the day. It wasn't about noise or drama. The seventh hallmaster makes decisions by her own way, and that's final. Jisui looks at Lu Li and tells him to ask for any prize. She gives him 3 options. Join the Tao Te Tower, get a license to open a restaurant on the busy South Street, or become her student. Lu Li bows low, showing both respect and determination. His answer is clear. What he seeks is strength, not fame, not fortune, but the technique to make his body stronger. Jisui repeats the words, physique strengthening, with extra weight in her voice like it means more than it sounds. Her tone is calm now, but there's power behind it. She says it's not a big deal. Then she turns to Lu Li and asks for his rank. Lu Li pauses. That word doesn't make sense to him yet. He doesn't know what it means in this context. Jisui gives a quick explanation. Her secret method, the one that can strengthen the body, is only given to people who have reached the level of an evil spirit at least. Below that, it won't work. Lu Li, being honest, admits he has no idea what rank he holds. Jisui doesn't seem surprised. She tells him there's no problem. She wants him to go change his clothes and come with her. The massive creature she's sitting on suddenly moves. Its size is terrifying, its presence heavy like a mountain. Without saying a word, it reaches down and picks Lu Li up gently, like handling something delicate. In its giant hand, Jiasui remains standing, calm and steady. The creature opens a glowing portal and carries them both through it. They arrive in front of a huge tower. The structure rises so high it looks like it touches the sky. Jiasui points at it and explains, "This is the rank tower. It holds 6 levels. Each one stands for a different stage: poor, warrior, prisoner, evil spirit, demon, and ferocious." She tells Lu Li that once he steps inside, the tower will show his true level. Lu Li looks at the tall, strange building. It feels important, like a test that will tell him something he needs to know. He nods with respect, thanks Jiasui, and takes a step toward the tower. His heart is quiet but determined. Deep down, he really wants to know where he stands in this world. Inside the first floor, marked for the poor rank, he sees something unexpected. A strange rabbit is sitting proudly on top of a pile of carrots. This rabbit doesn't look cute. It looks like it has seen battles. A scar runs over its eye, and its sharp teeth move fast as it munches a carrot. It notices Lu Li and tries to sound important. It acts like a guard or some kind of mini-boss, trying to make a dramatic scene. But the rabbit talks too much. Lu Li doesn't waste time. He doesn't give the rabbit a chance to finish its little speech. In one clean motion, he slices off its head. No fuss, no effort, just silence. The rabbit, thinking it was tough, couldn't even finish a sentence before meeting the floor. It looked deadly sitting on its carrots, but in the end, it was just a bunny with a big mouth. Outside the rank tower, the monstrous giant shifts slightly and speaks up. He politely asks Jiasui if he can ask a question. She gives him permission. The giant doesn't waste time. He wants to know why she is sending Lu Li into this tower, which he calls a rabbit cage. To him, it seems unfair. Lu Li already won the competition fair and square, so what put him through this strange trial? Jiasui replies in a calm and cold tone. She explains her reason, and it is not about cooking or winning. The boy carries the scent of Lady Wu Yu. That detail alone sets off alarms in her mind. Wu Yu belongs to the Danyu Hall, an enemy faction. Rumors say that during a previous competition at the Windy Cloud Pavilion, Wu Yu accepted a strange disciple, one that was just a little skeleton. That kind of move only adds to the mystery and danger. Now the giant understands more, but still doesn't agree. He asks why not just kill the boy right away. Why go through all this trouble just to trap him in the rank tower? Jiasui doesn't like the second question. Her hand moves fast. She gives the giant a small tap with her knuckle. But to something that big, even a light tap from her is like a mountain falling. His massive body flies backward through the sky and crashes into the side of a mountain. Rocks fall and dust rises. The giant who just moments ago looked so strong now cries out and begs for mercy. Jiasui reminds him that she only allowed one question. He never had the right to ask a second. Her voice stays calm, but her power is clear. In her heart, she thinks about it again. The idea of trapping Lu Li doesn't even need a reason in her eyes. She already made up her mind. Her actions don't need to be explained to anyone. I hope that you liked today's video, and if you did, hit that like button as today's goal is 1,500 likes. Comment next part down below for the next part. Also, consider subscribing with the notification bell on to get notified as soon as a new video drops onto the channel. You can also join the channel to support me financially and watch videos before public release. I'll meet you in the next video. Until then, thanks for watching.